We know that you have just returned from a key state in this midterm election year, Michigan. What should we know?
This was fascinating. We found Democrats in Michigan wrestling over an absolutely critical and intense Senate race. Their primaries tomorrow between two candidates who both say they're underestimated, but it's really about how Democrats try to win and who they want to be.
In Michigan, is this a phase or is this the future?
All right, y'all, money out of? Money in your? Pocket. Medicare for? Well, that's what we're fighting for, y'all. It just shouldn't be this hard.
Abdul El-Sayed is many things: a Michigan native, a Rhodes Scholar with a medical degree, and a former public health director. Vigor is his brand. A progressive who's never held office before, he is banking on enthusiasm.
He's authentic. He doesn't owe anything. He's not representing anyone but the people.
He's not just like, hey, I'm pushing the same buttons as everyone else. He's actually like, hey, this is messed up. We got to fix this.
Battling him is Congresswoman Haley Stevens.
We all know we're a swing state, and we're going to win big in November.
Her brand is hard worker, can do, as in 2018 when she flipped a Republican district to win her U.S. House seat, or in 2009 when she helped run President Obama's auto bailout. Stevens leans in on her record and her Michigan accent.
I have this community's back. I have this state's back. And I'm going to lead in the way we need and deserve. I'm going to stick it to them.
Her supporters say she's the one who can win in the fall.
There's no contest. She has a proven record.
Fighter for the working man or woman. She really stands up for that.
One party choosing from two different directions.
I've got friends on both sides.
And they feel strongly.
And they feel very strongly about their choice.
In the Detroit suburbs, Cindy Groney is highly engaged. She volunteers and campaigns with the local Democratic Party, and she's supporting Stevens.
I feel strongly that she's the right choice. One is her policies, and the other is I feel she has the best chance of winning the race once the primary is over.
How important is that?
I think it's critical. This state is a purple state, and I think it's going to be close.
Polling backs that up. A recent Michigan education poll found Stevens neck and neck with Republican Mike Rogers. He's a former congressman who narrowly lost a Senate race 2 years ago and has President Trump's endorsement. In the same poll, Abdul El-Sayed trailed Rogers by 10 points.
It is high past time for us to show up and start taxing billionaires their wealth.
But El-Sayed says this misses his momentum.
The way you win is to bring more voters to the coalition and to win some of these folks who want a politician who's not bought off. I'll also tell you this, that to beat somebody like Mike Rogers, you actually have to offer a contrast. If you need $60 million, as my Democratic opponent has taken, to barely be competitive in a primary, tell me how you're electable again.
This is one of the most expensive Senate primaries in history, fueled not just by divide over the Democratic Party's direction, but by one high-stakes debate over Israel and Gaza.
She's fighting back against Trump's Medicare cuts.
This ad may not mention the Middle East, but the super PAC involved is focused on it. Tied to AIPAC, or the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, the group has spent more than $30 million for Stevens and against El-Sayed.
That's the real Abdul El-Sayed.
The outside spending is sparking wide backlash. At the same time, Democrats are divided over Gaza. El-Sayed sharply criticizes America's role in providing weapons to Israel.
Anti-Semitism is a scourge, and we must stand up against it. But this is about love for the people who go without those basic things in America. So how dare we ask how we're going to pay for improvements to our schools or health care while we don't bat an eyelash to sending $3.3 billion of our taxpayer money to a foreign government doing genocide and apartheid?
Alina Malik's a rising senior at the University of Michigan studying business. While home for the summer, El-Sayed inspired her to canvass for the first time.
I was definitely scared going into it, but it was really nice.
A core issue for her, the AIPAC and corporate money in this race.
I didn't realize how campaigns were funded and how they can be funded by these corporate political action committees and how that can affect the policies that are made.
You know, I'd love a constitutional amendment to get rid of money in politics.
Stevens has responded, as we saw at the Regional Chamber of Commerce in Lansing.
We're in a moment of reckoning. You know, and it's cheap shots to say, oh, well, you know, we can't have nice things because of this and that. You know, a super PAC, which, yes, that's garbage that we have this dark money.
You said very clearly, and you've been clear, you want to reform, you do campaign finance reform. Why not tell super PACs not to use your name? Why not openly reject the dark money and outside money that's helping you?
Well, the Republicans certainly wouldn't be listening to that.
So,
you know,
two wrongs make a right?
I'd love to tell the Republican super PACs not to donate or not to do a super PAC.
Stumping for Stevens is Zach Nessel. He's secretary of the state Democratic Jewish Caucus and the son of the state's attorney general. He says the AIPAC focus is misguided.
They support her because she supports Israel, and she always has been. It's not that she owes them anything. It's that she has been, their values are aligned.
This divide isn't new, but Democrats criticizing Israel and those pushing left are notching up recent gains, like Democratic socialist Zahra Mamdani's win in New York City. Here in Michigan, a recent poll shows El-Sayed with a 16-point lead over Stevens, winning big with independents likely to vote in the race.
They opened like all with us.
Matt Grossman is a political science professor at Michigan State and co-owns Hooked, a bookstore in Lansing.
Democrats are competitive now in Texas, in Iowa, in Alaska, in Ohio. This shouldn't be the competitive state, certainly to determine the outcome of the U.S. Senate. But I think Republicans think, regardless of who wins on the Democratic side, they have a chance here.
Grossman also says the general election could get ugly, particularly if Republicans run against El-Sayed, who'd be the first Muslim senator in history.
He's fighting for what people want, and so I think that will make people, you know, see past the racism and, you know, the superficial things like his name and his identity.
If Stevens wins, Alina Malik will probably vote for her over the Republican.
I think it goes back to kind of choosing the lesser of two evils.
I don't have any real negatives towards Abdul, but I would like to see him hold another elected job before he made a huge move to the Senate.
But even so, Stevens supporter Cindy Groney says she will definitely vote for El-Sayed if he is on the fall ballot.
My concern is both sides, Abdul supporters, Haley supporters, will not vote for the other if they win. And that would not result in Democrats retaining this Senate seat.
This is a classic Michigan hard political fight, a test of Democrats' divide and their ability to quickly reunite. For the PBS News Hour, I'm Lisa Desjardins in Lansing, Michigan.